So hi everybody, we're back on YouTube. Hooray!
Kona, what's your deal? Stop.
Our dogs are barking, so pardon us, but
She's being very rude. It's upsetting. It really
she's
is.
like, give me attention, give me attention. The reason why it's been a long time is because we decided to have a family. So now we have 3 children,
Marbles.
in addition to our 2 fur babies.
Look at that guy. How can you not love this little dude?
He's a cutie. And now we actually have real human babies, not just fur babies.
Yes.
We
Yes. So
have-
now all of our children are still minus 2 limbs compared to the 2 dogs. Yes. They're down.
How
8
are
to
they
6.
minus two limbs?
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I was thinking 2. Two legs. That's what I was thinking. 2 legs.
They have arms and legs.
No, but 2
They're
legs is what I was thinking.
quadrupeds. Again.
I was thinking 2 legs. 6 legs versus 8 legs. That's what I was thinking.
The point
That's
is-
truth. I'm sorry. That's me. Anyways, good.
The point is, again, we are now parents. We get a little bit to no sleep, but we're trying
That's
to
the
kind of-
part where Christina looks at me and says, "Can you not be you right now?"
But the point is, we now have little to no sleep, and as you can see, I figured let me just put on my little girl's clothes because they're super cute, and our house is pretty warm right now because we're trying to keep the house as comfortable as possible. It's winter,
I'll be back.
and so because it's winter, we want to make sure the house stays nice and cozy. We have our twins. They are now 2 months, a little over 2 months old. And we have our 18-month, almost 19-month-old daughter, Olivia. We never really talk about our kids too much, but we figured, you know what? Since it's been a while since we've been on YouTube, we figured we'd dedicate some time just to talk about our beautiful little children.
And as proof that we have a family, this is going to be as close to that I can make
I'll
it
be right back.
as a family-friendly show.
Yeah.
So the snack of the hour is goldfish. So you'll be seeing me snack on these throughout the duration of the episode. As well as if you've been following us, you know generally I like my Pure Leaf iced tea. Well, I've swapped out that for what I call juice, but this isn't about me. This is about Olivia.
Our daughter.
So in honor of Olivia, I will call it what she calls it. Juice!
Juice!
I want juice!
So I wanted to share these with you. When the babies arrived, at least for Olivia, we didn't get newborn photos done outside of the hospital. The hospital person that came in, the photographer, took pictures of her. And our favorite picture, ironically, was one that Sean took.
Hospital is expensive and not that good.
I purchased them. I encourage all the parents to at least look at the gallery, and if you like them, buy them. However, when Olivia was going to be turning 1, we wanted to have a cake smash photo shoot, and I had seen some friends go to a particular photographer, and I figured, you know what, let me reach out, find out, and I booked a Valentine's photo shoot, loved the pictures, said, yes, this is my lady, she's going to take our photos for Olivia. Loved it so much, we decided we're going to do a newborn shoot. So I have some photos here to share with you of our children. So if you can see that without the specific, would pop like this.
So if we're like right, no, wait.
Hold on.
Wait.
So these
prepared.
are our children.
All right, so if we look right here, that's Charlotte. She's our little Char bar. We call her the Duchess. She's the Duchess.
She is our second born.
She's the Duchess because as we move to the middle, that's Olivia.
That's our prince.
She's the princess, and she's the princess because she's the queen. So as she's the princess, we move over there to Connor. Now Connor, we got a few for him. We call him the Prince. We call him Steve Rogers. He's our little super soldier. There's more of it to his story in there. You got to kind of understand it to appreciate it. But yeah,
He's our baby. And the reason I say we have our middle child, second born, and our third, our baby,
I don't see it that way.
I do.
I don't.
Because again, they all have their own unique personalities. Even though the twins are a package deal, they each took their time to come out. The doctors didn't just pop them out like a pack of chiclets or something.
They're 1 minute apart.
They're 1 minute apart, but the way that twins work is there's a baby A, baby B. Charlotte was baby A. She's the reason I went into labor early. And then Connor was the last baby out. As soon as they took, I had to have an emergency C-section with Olivia. But then I also had to have a C-section emergency C-section for the twins because they arrived early.
No, get down.
So, those are pardon the chandelier showing a little bit of a glare, but these are our beautiful children, and the photographer took these.
These goldfish are good.
Wonderful. So this is what we'll be hanging up in our house, so we can remember them when they were this tiny. And then, just for comparison, we also took just the twins by themselves. So those are our little angels, Charlotte and Connor. So, being a mother, God bless all the mothers that have been mothers before me. I wish I was a mother earlier in life. I am an older mom. Not older mom, but I became a mom later in my life in my late 30s. So
Yeah,
it's
that
been
too.
tough.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because I hadn't found the love of my life yet. So I wasn't ready to have a family. I was planning on never getting married, but that's a whole other conversation.
I went and I messed up her plans.
And I fell in love, and whoopsie.
It's all my fault.
So we got married. We've been married for how many years?
3.5.
We met in 2013. We got married after 3 years of being together, engaged after 1. Had Olivia.
We met on. A lot of people don't believe this because see now, this is something that happened after us.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get to experience Tinder, Bumble, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're great apps. You can really meet someone there." Oh, I'm sure. The way you want to meet them. We met on Match.
But the funny part is, if we hadn't met on Match, our paths have crossed. There's a very funny story on how we've kind of know people who know people who know people or have married people, or we went to school with people that kind of know the other. So there are connections, even family members that were around that same time. When I was born, his cousin was born 3 days after, same hospital.
We were a 99% match.
Uh-huh.
I was on there for 4.5 months. She was on there for 1 day.
1 day.
24 hours.
But, lo and behold, that was 2013. Now we're 2020, and we've been together for almost 7 years.
So,
In June, it'll be 7
when
years.
we came out, Tinder wasn't around then. I don't know anything about it. Like, I'll take people's phone, like guys that I work with or I'm friends with. Like, they'll be doing it at work, and I'll take their phone. I'm like, do you trust me? They'll be like, what are you going to do? I'm like, do you trust me? And they're like, maybe. And I'm like, so I'll just swipe right or left for them. I don't know.
But we are together. I finally changed my name, I think, right after Olivia was born.
So now she has 3 first names.
But one thing that we immediately did when we knew we were having a girl is we wanted to figure out names. So naming our children has been a very interesting conversation, dialogue, because we wanted to figure out if we were going to have a boy, what the name would be for our firstborn versus a girl. And we knew either way we liked Oliver or Olivia. So that was either going to be the name for our firstborn child. Found out it was a girl, Olivia was the name. The middle name has a unique, I guess, what would you say, meaning? Sean is a car guy, and you haven't already seen that.
So for the middle name, all I'm gonna say is it doesn't matter. It is a model of a car, which actually kind of doubles. Mm-hmm. That was an accident. Swear to God, that was an accident.
It happens.
But the other part is when you break down her initials are OEM. So OEM in the car industry, that's all original parts. So that's kind of like a, haha, I like what you did there.
That's what he thought. But again, we wanted to find a name that was strong. Because again, having a girl's name as a last name is tough. So we want a really strong classic name. So her name is Olivia Elise.
So what we were going to do is all the girls, she does the first name, I do the middle. For the boys, I do the first name, she does the middle.
We flip-flop just because we wanted to have some fairness in naming our kids. If I really wanted to be that person, I'd be like, you get no say.
Yeah, okay.
But, of course, I'm a sucker, and I actually gave in.
So then we were talking about Connor, and we were trying to figure out names, and we were looking at all sorts of crazy names, like Xavier popped up.
I like Sebastian.
She had said Sebastian, and I was like, I actually like Bastion
I like Seth.
just to have something a little bit of a different twist.
I liked a lot of different names.
Nico. So I couldn't really figure out anything. So I was just watching TV one day. I was watching one of my favorite movies. It was Fast and Furious, and there was a scene where they were talking to one of the characters, like, "Oh, Connor," and I just went in my head. I'm like, Connor.
Sean doesn't know that I checked with my family first to make sure that was an okay name, and then I said, "Yay!"
Yeah, I don't care what her family thinks.
Okay.
So so I presented it to her, and then like 2, 3, 4 days later, she just randomly calls me at work, and she was like, Connor Alexander. And I'm like, wait, what?
Well, Alexander has a very special meaning to me. It was my grandfather's name on my mother's side, and it's also my mother's youngest brother. May they rest in peace. So we decided that kind of sounded really good, so his initials are C-A-N, Cam. For Charlotte, I knew I wanted a C. Again, I wanted the twins to have similar names. I liked the initial C just because it just sounded nice. I love the name Charlotte, but I was torn between Charlotte and Scarlett because I was also thinking again, Sebastian.
Yeah, I had no say in first name, middle name on there. That was...
So he liked his first name. I knew I liked Alexander, so Alexander went for my son. I liked Charlotte. He was like, I don't know. But again, trying to find a middle name that was strong, I kind of vetoed whatever he was going to come up with for a middle name and said, no, I like Elizabeth. Charlotte Elizabeth. Sounds like a little sweetheart. Charlotte Elizabeth is our second child. Connor Alexander, our third. So the girls have the same middle initial.
Our main thing was...
And the twins have the same first initial. Go ahead.
Wait, say that again?
So our twins have the same first initial, C, and the girls have the same middle initial, E. I did that on purpose.
Okay.
Oh no.
So the main thing for us was when we were going through names, like beyond this whole little banter back and forth here, the main thing was we wanted names that were normal names, not like Apple or Blanket.
That's him.
We wanted normal names, but then again, taking a step further, names that weren't common. Like if you think of Olivia, I can only name 3 Olivias: Olivia Newton-John, Olivia Munn, Olivia Wilde. Those are the only 3 I can think of.
Olivia is a popular name for the children that are growing up this age, but the point is that we wanted to pick names again that were unique to the family. So we thought of some really beautiful names, and again, we love all the nieces, nephews, cousins that are in the family, but we wanted
if it was used, it wasn't happening.
It wasn't a
It
factor.
wasn't being duplicated.
A big middle name that was around was Rose, was Marie, and we're like, no. not
Julia.
happening. Middle names, I'm saying. Anyway, the point is, we had names that we liked.
See, I threw the name Julia out there, but
I said no.
Giulia, because that's the Italian Alfa Romeo car.
He wanted everything
So,
very
I was like
heavy
trying to really
Italian.
stretch.
Nope.
Yeah, she didn't give me that.
Nope, I wanted simple, clean, classic names. Nothing against it being very Italian or being very Spanish. Something simple. Something that they can write their name on a resume and it looks really nice. Again, that's how I think. But what I can say is that ultimately our children are here. They are wonderful. They've changed your life for the better. We really wanted to have our family. However, Sean's like, I'm good at 2. And I'm like, oops, there's 3. So with that being the point, for those of you that are able to have your family and have a family at least of 2 or 3 children, God bless you. We have 3 children under the age of 18 months.
My aunt keeps telling us that we won because she has...
We have the most.
She has my cousin Greg and then Jeannie and Donna. So the 3 of them, but 3 of them spanned out over the course of 4 years.
Yeah.
So she keeps saying we won because when the twins were born, we had 3 under a year and a half.
And we just did a visit with my godmother and my aunt. And her son has 3 children as well. He has twin boys and a little girl. But they had, I think, a span of time in between when they had their twins. So the twins were able to help. The twins came first, and then their daughter came second. We had our daughter, and then the twins came. So they'll at least have playmates for life. I'm so excited.
Yeah, just FYI, yes, we are doing this family video, children friendly, with LMFAO in the background. That's really happening right now.
It's Party Rock Anthem. It's not the other ones. So ultimately, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, Sean went to grab our little one.
He's right here. This is Connor.
That's Connor. He's our baby. Our baby of the babies.
He's not ready for you guys yet. He's barely ready for us.
Olivia was born 37 weeks. At 37 weeks of pregnancy. She was induced. I had to have an emergency C-section, cord wrapped around her neck. She came out beautiful. Beautiful little girl. Very strong, very healthy. Happy with it. With the twins, my water actually broke, which was very scary. I was by myself. It kind of made me feel like Katherine Heigl in, what's the movie?
Knocked Up.
Knocked Up. Where she goes into labor and there's nobody. Can't get a hold of the doctor, can't get a hold of anybody. The only person she can get a hold of, I think at that point, was Seth Rogen's character. It took me a while to get a hold of Sean because... Yes, it did. I called you twice. You should have picked up your phone. Anyway, the point is...
phone rang once.
The point is... We ended up having to call Sean because Sean was taking a road trip up to see my in-laws.
With Olivia.
With Olivia because I needed a break. I was literally working for both babies right up to the point of actually having them. Olivia was induced on a Monday. We had her on a Tuesday. I labored too long for that one. But for the twins, I went up. The company I work for is based out of, what is it? What county is it?
Tarrytown. Not, I don't think it's Rochester.
No, Rochester's further west. I think it's Dutchess County.
I don't know.
I think it's Dutchess County, or it's pretty much on the other side of the Tappan Zee, or the new Mario Cuomo Bridge. And
no, Tappan Zee.
No, Mario Cuomo Bridge.
Tappan Zee Bridge.
The point is that I literally went to work, drove 34 weeks pregnant up to New York State, stayed for 3 nights, drove home on a Friday. And then I wasn't feeling well. Saturday, I was alone. Me being as pregnant as I was with 2 dogs and Olivia, I'm like, Sean, I can't do that again. I was in a lot of pain. So I'm like, take her. He literally took her. And I'm like, oops. So I got to the hospital, and I delivered the babies later that day. Both babies were born in, I think, 1 minute apart?
Yeah.
1 minute apart. Charlotte was beautiful. They showed her to me, and I was like, all right, this works. Didn't see my son. They took him straight to the NICU. Long story short, I recovered. By the time I recovered, I was sent up to maternity, and I got to see both children in the NICU side by side. My son was diagnosed with respiratory distress syndrome. So
wait. All right. I'm just going to elaborate on that a little bit more.
Okay.
So I think it's called like neonatal. I forget exactly, but there's an N there to start. So there's like the natal
neonatal respiratory
distress syndrome. So the way they said it one time, and I was like, wait, what?
It's NRDS.
And so we were joking around to try to alleviate the situation.
Because it was pretty heavy.
I was like, Christina's like, he has nerds.
He has nerds. But Olivia was being watched the whole time, so she was well taken care of with my family because they live very close, less than a mile away. But after they were delivered, we saw the twins, and it was very sad because, again, I wasn't expecting my son to have as much distress as possible.
Everything.
To wrap it up, the twins were fine up until day 2. From that perspective, I say fine, but they were still in the same NICU.
Charlotte was fine.
She was just small.
Yeah, she was just small, but she was fine. Connor, he had respiratory, so his oxygen level, he had trouble breathing.
You can Google respiratory distress syndrome.
So his oxygen level was up at 50. They said realistically it should be in the 18 to 22 range. They gave him a medication, which was kind of like a film to make the breathing easier. That worked shortly, which brought it down to, I think it was around like 30-ish. But it was still high.
He was just in distress. Yes.
Overnight, it went back up to 50, and then they had to bring it back up to. They had to transport him to an elite hospital.
So the hospital we delivered at was a very good hospital. My doctor loves that hospital, Catholic hospital nearby in the county. However, because of his condition, they had to transfer him. On day 2, I hadn't even held my son, and they transferred him. But I got to hold him literally as they were taking all the apparatus off his face. Very sad time for me, very traumatizing time for me. This is probably, I might make a personal video about it later on, and we'll see how that goes. But ultimately, they transferred my son. My daughter was still with me, but I got discharged first. And that whole time, I was home without my babies. My sister was an angel. She kept Olivia just so I can get things squared away in the house because they came so early, things weren't done. Their nursery wasn't 100% set up. The house wasn't in its best condition because I couldn't do much being as pregnant as I was.
Because at this point, they came 3.5 weeks early.
Yeah, they came early. I at least say 3.5 weeks early because I was supposed to deliver them at 38 weeks.
He came home.
Twins don't go to 40 weeks.
He came home the day that she was due to.
Our children were due Thanksgiving. Connor came the week prior to Thanksgiving.
It was November 14th. That was the day he came home.
Yeah.
That was their original due date. That's what he was.
That was not their due date. That was the original date that they were going to.
But the earliest they were going to pull him. Yeah.
They were going to take them. So that was very tough for me to then have to go home without my babies. My daughter came home the week later. So in that interim, I couldn't drive, so I was able to get a ride to and from both hospitals, which was a challenge. I wasn't sleeping very well. I was very upset. And of course, because you can't breastfeed your children if they're not home, I was pumping. So that was a struggle. I was very successful at it. I was able to get enough for both children because with twins, you kind of have to produce more. So long story short, they're being fed. My son comes home, and then the real fun begins. I had both my girls home with me, and then he came home, and it was wonderful. For Sean's birthday, we actually went to the NICU and celebrated with all the kids for the first time.
That was the first time all 5 of us were together.
Yeah, and that was the first time Olivia had seen Connor. She hadn't seen him. When Charlotte came home, we went straight, and she was introduced to Charlotte. Olivia, at first was like,
what are you?
That look. Literally just looking like, what are you? I don't want anything to do with you. She peeked, and then she was like, okay, we're good. But she's now at a point where she loves her brother and sister. She'll look at them.
She does like this like awkward pat, or she'll be like, don't cry.
She'll go, it's okay. Don't cry. It's okay. So I look at her. I'm just like, I love her. But as those of you who maybe know who have kids, the first one kind of tries to figure out their dominance, I guess, and say, well, again, it's that age. So she's a toddler behavior. So, God bless her. Right now, she's napping for a long time. So we should wrap this soon. But ultimately, yes, our children are all home. My son is better. He's a feeding champion, as you can see.
He's a champ!
He's a champ. He has a little cry, so sometimes I hear they're crying. Sean thinks I have eagle ears.
I joke around, and this is truth. I've made the joke, a few jokes. So if you're an '80s baby, Christina's gonna get so mad at me. I'm gonna say it anyways because it's truth. They did this face when they were born. They did this face when they were born, right? Now try to imagine it. Obviously, let me take my glasses off real quick, just for purposes, right? So they make the face like this, right?
No.
So that's. If you don't know what that face is, I'm gonna say this: go to YouTube,
he says
go to another
children
channel,
look like Mac and me.
and then Google Mac and me, and just watch the alien and think of the face.
No.
He did. So there's that. But like when he has his little cry, it's very very faint. He sounds like a baby dinosaur. Like if you go to watch Jurassic Park when they're in the lab and the dinosaurs are hatching, his cry is like the very faint sound of a dinosaur being born.
But I can hear it. Charlotte
is an all-out cry.
She's got a loud cry. She might be tiny, but she's mighty. And so when I think their first night that they were home,
Tiny and mighty. That's a good one.
Tiny and mighty. When they were first home, the first night Charlotte was here, Charlotte was asleep, woke up to the point where she woke up Olivia.
He's looking milky drunk right now.
Alright. So woke up Olivia. I had to take care of Olivia because Olivia was harder to get back to sleep. Charlotte, of course, went with Sean. She kind of settled in, but she's our colicky baby, so we're trying to deal with colic and gas and take care of her. She's much better, but she's still our vocal child. But on that note, I think we're going to try and do our best not to raise butt heads of children. We're trying. We're trying. It's hard because in the age that children are growing up now, I always would say, oh my God, I feel bad for anybody who has kids nowadays. And now I feel bad for us.
I like stand-up comedy, right? So there's two things on there. They say when the kids are little, like when they're first born like this, you have one job, to keep the kid alive.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because it's just so much stuff going on, right? Then your next main goal, I think, which comes from another stand-up comedian, your goal is to keep them off the pole.
That's not funny.
If you like Chris Rock, you would get the context.
I get the context, but because we have 2 daughters, he says that, right? But we have a son too.
No.
So-
When they get older, I'm gonna Reggie. We're gonna do a Reggie. Bad Boys 2, if you don't know what Reggie means.
Please,
we're gonna do
anybody
that.
watching there, give me some empathy. This is the jokester that I have to deal with now with raising 3 children. The point.
Oh, you haven't even gotten to the dad jokes yet.
No. He's been doing dad jokes, I think, before we were even dating. So he's well versed in dad jokes. But ultimately, yes, they're gonna have each other. They're gonna be 18 months apart. So one might be in 1 grade ahead, one might be 2, depending on how their birthdays fall on the calendar and the school year. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's interesting to see them each develop their own personality. They've already changed so much. They were so tiny when they were born, but now they're a little bit more hefty, a little bit more chunky. They're eating well. So we'll just see how they do. But literally when they're babies, we don't get any sleep because they feed every three hours. But what we're noticing is that Connor is more hungry than Charlotte. Charlotte's hungry, but she doesn't take in as much food as Connor because, again, with the gas and what have you. So we're doing the best we can. Olivia was a good eater, so we're very lucky. But we'll continue to see how things go, I guess, with the kids. And just play it by ear. Hopefully my hair doesn't get too gray. Hopefully Sean doesn't lose any more hair off the top of his head.
Coco Melon is fantastic on YouTube.
That's one of the things we use to kind of educate
Coco.
and teach Olivia. She'll ask for it by saying Coco.
She'll ask for the first one she said was doo-doo.
Doo-doo. She
Doo-doo.
goes doo-doo.
That, which is YouTube. And then she evolved and then she'd say Coco.
Yes. I think it was reversed. She said Coco first.
And now, every now and then we'll throw in there and she'll say Elmo.
So we're introducing her to Sesame Street
And the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yes,
right?
we got Disney Plus.
Oh my God.
I love Disney Plus.
Well, but that's on YouTube and that's Nickelodeon also.
No, yes, but we end up watching it on Disney Plus.
Hot dog, hot
Mickey
diggity
Mouse
dog.
is not on Nickelodeon, but ultimately, yes, that's what we watch. She
Or,
watches Bubble
yeah,
Guppies.
Disney Channel, yeah.
She watches a lot of different other programs.
Bubble Guppies.
I
Bubble
never
Guppies.
thought Sean would ever want to sing songs from children's cartoons that he
Paw
himself
Patrol.
hasn't watched. He likes to sing the songs. Go figure.
They're catchy. It's not that I like to sing the kids songs. They're catchy.
And that's the thing. One of the things that we learned with Olivia is there is
Like Christina
a
gets-
band or like a actual
Lullaby Baby Trio.
yes, the Lullaby Baby Trio. Sean did
So-
a video on trying to have a Lullaby Baby Trio
There-
championship.
There's a video on my channel, so maybe Christina will set up the link so you can come over and see mine. That's fantastic. We're gonna do another one.
So ultimately, it's popular culture music set to lullabies. The band actually makes it sound like a lullaby. So you'll be thinking, what is this?
So, and when she said
And
that,
it's
keep in mind, we're talking
contemporary.
from like Michael Jackson,
Pop
AC/DC,
music.
Nirvana, Enter Sandman by Metallica, Star Wars, Mario Brothers, Mega Man. Like, it's all over the place.
Yeah. So we do that. We listen to that. That's her favorite stuff. But ultimately, yes. We have white noise in their rooms. So that way, we live on a main street, but at moments where the house is quiet, you'll probably hear like the radiators go because we have steam radiators. Or you'll hear the dogs. The dogs need white noise too because, as you heard in the video, if they see or hear anything outside, they start barking. So we try to kind of keep that so that way the kids actually go to sleep, and it's been a godsend. We recently transitioned the twins. I guess we watched them. We're trying to get them to sleep in their crib because they have mini cribs. Olivia had a combination crib with her changing table. We learned we can't do that with the twins because Olivia was is a very active child. She's very strong, so she's climbed out of the crib many, many times. But she's safe. She's fine. Don't panic.
But here's the thing.
So-
She got to the point where she climbed out of her crib so many times because she didn't want to be in it. She'll go in their room and climb into their
She
cribs.
climbs into their cribs. So,
What are you doing, child?
because we have, again, we purchase little stuffed animals for them to have. The babies are not in the cribs with the stuffed animals, but the stuffed animals are in the cribs when they're not in it.
Yo, these kids, forget the three of them. Olivia alone has more stuffed animals now than I've ever had in my entire
She
life.
doesn't have a lot of toys, but what she does have is a lot of stuffed animals.
Oh my god.
We have a lot of books. She's a book kid. For Christmas, she got her first kitchen and pots and pans and food, play food, and she got a little scooter, and she has a play tent. So those were like the big presents for her this year. But the twins will also be in the situation where they'll have their stuffed animals. It's safe. It's something that a little kid can play with. That's one thing I think we're learning. Age-appropriate toys. Things that are age-appropriate for their kids. So we're trying not to overbuy because we live in an older home. We live in a smaller home. And things tend to spread out. Olivia is the Tasmanian devil. And she pretty much can make a mess in 60 seconds.
Yep. And the thing that I love about it is Christine always accused me of being a massive mess
She
maker.
inherited it from Sean.
No. So she makes so many messes times mega scales and so many different ones that like the little thing like this piece of paper or that paper towel that gets overlooked now. I'm like skating under the radar because Olivia's the target now.
The problem is she is very strong and can pull her little body. She's tiny, so she lifts herself up a lot, so she's able to get to things. Baby proofing, she's found ways to get around our baby proofing as much as she can, but ultimately she's known the dogs need white noise because we stopped playing music, our television. So Sean's gonna fix that so that way we can get some noise back on so the dogs don't bark. But yes, at this point, I think ultimately we're still trying to figure out what it's like to be parents and navigate them through life pretty well. But I'm sure we'll have more videos along the line that will cover that stuff. So until that point, bye.